Hello and welcome to a Warframe video. In this video I wanted to talk about the upcoming changes that were announced on the dev workshop um, and basically share my thoughts and opinions on what's to come for the Warframes of Warframe. The changes, the buffs, the nerfs, the rework, it's interesting to say the least. So far, all I have seen is that they're really trying to balance the game so that you can't do like things such as AFK farming or remove the fun for people who have already just begun and you just want to blaze past and exterminate and just defeat it while people are just lying behind not being able to do anything. So changes are definitely for balance are very good and obviously buffs for extending uh, like allowing you to stay further in and become stronger are always a good thing. So, starting off with my opinion on Ash's Bladestorm. Personally, Ash is my favorite Warframe. I just absolutely love him. And it's not because he's a ninja, it's because he is a really cool. It makes you feel like a badass assassin. And sure, the ninja element is there, and that's pretty much what ninjas are, but I do like being an assassin, just stalking in the shadows and then looking for that kill and going in. Even though Warframe is all about piling down masses of bodies and corpses and stuff, so um, I do like using Ash for that, for that specific like I want this guy dead and I want him now dead. So um, yeah, I do like Ash's changes. Ash's Bladestorm was um, well, the bread and butter for most people's Ashes builds, which is too bad because the first three powers are very good. Plus, with their arguments, they're even better. Um, I think Ash and like his first three powers and their arguments are really like they're a perfect example of perfect balance of both team strategic, like being tactical and strategic, like reducing armors with his shurikens, and then going for that fatal kill strike for that like really high leveled enemy or something. I do like that about his arguments, and his Bladestorm is a welcome addition. Now his when they nerfed Ash's Bladestorm, they gave us more control of who we wanted to kill with Ash. And while the energy consumption for doing all those kills was not a very big thing, um, because the more enemies you mark, the more you basically consumed. And considering that enemies pile up by the 20s and 30s, you need if you do the math, then you need a lot of energy. You need like what 200, 300 energy if without any like efficiency just to do a blade storm. So just to kill effectively. So I'm hoping for a few energy changes. But the ability to actually, they brought the shadow clones, the shadow clones, the Ash's doppelgangers back, or his clones, where they can basically, instead of him going on the Blade Storm, they can go and kill all the marked targets for him. That way you can do other things. And of course, if you want to join in, you can, which makes you invulnerable. So if you're in a tight fit and you're doing Blade Storm, you can definitely save yourself. So that is definitely a welcome change. So for Ash as Blade Storm, the changes are welcome, are very welcome. Second, we have Atlas's Petrify. Atlas is a good favorite of me, as you can see. I have him here. I have him like fashion framed. I have him with a good loadout for weapons and everything. I have a variety of loadouts for mods. I have a tank build. I have a rumbler build, which is the one that I'm using right now. It's kind of like a mix between attack and defense. It's like my attacker and defender build. And the reason why it's a defender build is because I have tectonic walls, or tectonic something, whatever it's called. Basically, I can place 3 walls, which is perfect for like either surrounding an excavator in walls to protect it, or if you're fighting against infested, limiting how many infested come from a certain location. That way they can swarm you. So I do like the walls. Or just if you need to go to the bathroom for a few seconds while in game, yeah, just wall yourself in and yeah, be safe. So that also works as well. And of course, on higher difficulties, they do melt. So I do like the change that you can buff them and make them stronger. And with his petrify being able to like punch while his petrify is active is a very good thing, because I actually did like a game with a few friends where we were a full group of farming. We had a Necros with Dispoil, we had a Hydrate with Pilfering Swarm, and we had Atlas with Orgaze to get all of that extra resources and loot. And among our group, Atlas was, I guess, the weakest of our group when it came to farming, because he had to stop his Petrify to defend himself, because he was, not. And basically, it came to a point where all the enemies are buffing each other to the point that we were doing an infested, and obviously the ancients do tend to buff each other. The disruptors do disrupt your abilities, so his ability became very, very weak. And instead of doing all the farming goods, it instead made him it just left him vulnerable. So even if they don't change how fast people petrify things with petrify, I like the ability to be able to like defend myself while I'm in that mode. So I do like the changes for Atlas so far. They're good welcome changes, and it'll make using petrify a bit more useful actually, and more. I think Atlas is now a bit more of a tank, a very decent tank, because being able to heal yourself and give yourself armor is definitely a good thing when it comes to Atlas. I mean, he is the Warframe with the second highest armor in the game. It would be, extra armor is even better, so it would be, it's a good thing to see him with with a little bit more survivability in the mix. Third, I wanted to talk about Banshee's nerf, which honestly is about time. Literally, the AFK farming thing, I've never done that. And I have the resonating Quake argument, I've only used it maybe like once or twice to see how it works or how it is. I didn't like how it just made me just spit out energy capsules all over the place. Like literally, you would have to spend like what 5 to 10 energy capsules per match just to keep her going with with her resonating Quake, and it kind of leaves your entire team completely like useless, and just they get bored. And I had cases where people were getting bored and leaving every time there wasn't a Banshee. So I do like the changes for Banshee. It's about time she got that nerf, because her other abilities are just as equal as powerful, and the way they changed her resonating Quake, actually it might be kind of worse, but it still is. It doesn't have that range. Sure, it's powerful and everything, but it doesn't have the range that you would normally have with a resonating Quake, which is good. Which means that people can okay, there's a Banshee defending this location. I'm gonna go to this location to do some kills, to basically like sabotage enemies and stuff like that. So I do like those changes. Ember's nerf is pretty much a good thing, because whenever you start off as a new player and you go to do an exterminate, a low-level exterminate, and there is this one guy who's rocking Ember Prime with World on Fire and Firequake on, yeah, that kind of it's pretty much the same thing as Banshee. You don't do anything. You can't do anything. Everyone's dead before they even before they even hit the ground. So I would definitely see it's about time that Ember got that nerf. And honestly, as a player who has been playing Warframe for like 2+ years or something, yeah, it was expected. I really, really did expect Ember to become nerfed at some point. Even though they kind of buffed her instead by giving her double damage. I mean, yeah, sure, your range is reduced, but you still get double damage, and if you combine Overextended Stretch and Cunning Drift, you still gain a lot of range. And with a little bit of strength, that double damage pretty much can cover up for all the missing mods for power. So, is it really a nerf? I don't really know. It seems more like a buff. Since, to be fair though, Ember is a damage dealer at its core. She melts on higher level difficulties because she's a damage dealer. She is meant for dealing damage, not for taking damage. So, a high damaging Ember World on Fire is kind of a welcome addition. So the double damage is kind of a welcome addition. My only hope was that they did something with Valkyr. After nerfing Valkyr, she has the exact same, like with the percentage increasing but she doesn't get any buffs. I mean, she does have the ability to heal herself and become and pretty much being invulnerable. However, being stuck on melee can be a little bit problematic. It would have been nice that the higher the percentage grows, the faster maybe you become. For me, Valkyrie is always going to be a cat frame, because even with Korra on the ways, for me Valkyrie is the wild cat frame because of her hysteria. I mean, it's not exactly common for a canine to go in hysteria mode. That's more of a cat thing, in my perspective. Also, claws, dogs are more about biting than clawing. So, I would say, I can honestly say without doubt that Valkyrie is more of a cat frame than she is anything else. So I would like to be able to see her a little bit quicker whenever she whenever she's like on the prowl for enemies to shred. So then there is Chroma. I don't really know the math about Chroma, but I do know that he deals a buttload of damage with his with the proper build. So I'm looking forward to see how that works. Being able to breathe fire while moving around at high speed, that's a welcome change. I welcome that change. Gara's fourth. Honestly, as far as Gara goes, I think the way she worked the first time was pretty decent. She still had her weaknesses, with enemies being able to go underneath or over her wall. And the bigger the wall is, the more obscure it is. So you actually had to go to the other side to see where enemies are. At least as far as I am concerned. I don't know. I guess it depends on her energy color and stuff like that. But yeah, it was. I think the way it was the first time is you know, it was good, and I literally have not touched her ever since her nerf came out. Ever since they changed the wall, I haven't touched her at all. So I'm hoping that the buff actually fixes her. It would have been nice. Volt's discharge. I do not use Volt for his discharge. I use him for his speed, his ability to shield, his first power to stun enemies whenever they're overcrowding me, and if I'm running with his argument for acquiring shields and I need that shield, I use the discharge to basically just, you know, stun enemies in my vicinity. So the buff for actually dealing more damage the closer they are to me is actually pretty good. Bullet jumping in a group of enemies and just stunning them is actually, it'll be an absolute beauty. And as for Zephyr, well, Zephyr's rework is the biggest rework, and that kind of makes me like curious as to why is she the most reworked. I mean, she does need it, but at the same time, I'm thinking maybe there is a primum in the way. But in any case, all the changes so far are pretty good. I do like them, and I think they will bring some very good balance in Warframe, and they will also provide better gameplay. So yeah, these are my thoughts and my opinions. Feel free to share yours down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Stay cool, and I'll see you later. Bye.